Hi, this is Lori Hines with A Taste of Israel. Welcome back. Welcome to my kitchen. Recently, I've been sharing with you why I started A Taste of Israel based on my very first trip to the country and how it impacted my life, and I've not been the same since. And I've also been kind of posing the question about maybe food for thought. Is food and wine spiritual? Does it have spiritual components? Well, here we are at Passover. It's just beginning. And I mentioned to you in a previous video, I think it was the Passover 101, Foods About Passover, about matzah. And it's the unleavened bread that is eaten during Passover. Why? Because during a Passover, we eat no leavening, no foods with leavening agents in it, like bread, pastas, or even anything that has an ingredient that has leavening in it. In fact, during the week leading up to Passover, homes are cleaned out of all leavening agents, all foods. People literally go through their kitchens for a week, taking every ingredient out of the pantry, refrigerator, wherever. They look every inch of their house and take out all of the leavening agent foods, the dust, everything that can relate to, I say dust because it's also spring cleaning. For Passover, your home must be clean and spotless, and lots of symbolism there. But back to the food. So they take out all of the foods that have leavening in it, and literally we move it out of our homes. I'm just learning this in the last few years, so I am not as, I guess, accurate or as diligent about it as I should be. But anyway, from the Jewish people who I've learned this from the Bible where I've learned this from, the traditions that go with it, removing all of the leavening out and literally out of your home. Because why? Here's the thing. Leavening causes foods to rise. And so it is with the holiday of Passover, the celebration of freedom, the festival of freedom. People celebrate going from slavery to freedom. And so the leavening that causes foods to rise is also symbolized as leavening causes things to puff up, like pride, causes us to puff up with pride, which is not a good thing. And so we take that out to remind us that the Jews did not free themselves. God did it. So that we can't take all the credit. We must give all the credit to God, so we don't get puffed up and full of pride and think that we do all these things. No, God is in control. He's the one who causes things to happen. He's the one who blesses us. He's the one who brings us out of slavery into freedom. So I'm not a preacher, but this is just what it means. This is the inspiration of the celebration of Passover. We remember how we once were slaves, whether we're Jewish or not. We've been slaves to things in our lives, and so now we're freed through God's power and grace, and that's exciting. So during Passover, of course, the whole week, there's no food with, like I just said, leavening. So today I want to jump to the cooking part of today's video, which is I'm going to share a dessert with you that is perfect for Passover. It has no leavening in it, and it is chocolate mousse. So I am going to share with you how to make it. We're going to start right now. So here we go. There's three parts to chocolate mousse. There's the chocolate the foundation. The base is a chocolate mixture, and I have that here. It's just melted chocolate. But the secret to my mousse is I add some yummy fresh brewed coffee. Dark coffee is good. Espresso is better. Whirl that in to cool it just a little bit. You can also use booze if you want a little bit of, I love to put cognac or also amaretto in it. It's delicious that way. Gives a nice almond flavor. You can also put some nice Grand Marnier, some orange flavor. Oops, I'm making a huge mess here. Okay. Takes whisking and whisking and whisking. You can see my bowl is messy. I should have used a bigger bowl. It's a novice move, but that's okay. It's going to come together really quickly. You want to, if it begins to seize up when you add your coffee, if your coffee's hot, I just made that. If your chocolate begins to seize up, it's okay. Just keep whisking like I'm doing and don't stop. It's going to be fine. Don't worry. All right, we have smooth melted chocolate again. You can see that. All right. So that is our melted chocolate. All right. I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit. Chocolate is so yummy. I think chocolate is a blessing from God, actually. Okay, so next we're going to take the chocolate, which is the first of the three main components of chocolate mousse, and we're going to add this to our big bowl where we're going to start combining all three components, which are going to be chocolate. If you can see this going in. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay. Now the second component is egg whites. So I've already started beating them here. You want to get them to where they're beginning to make soft peaks, which they're almost here. You can test it. I might have almost overbeat them, but they're there. So when you get to there, meaning soft peaks, that's when you add your sugar. So I'm going to do that now. Slowly add your sugar. And you want to beat your egg whites until they're shiny and smooth and silky. Don't overbeat them because then they'll be too stiff and it will lose the structure. If it's a protein, you can overdo it. Okay. Aren't these cute? I got these in Israel on Joshua Street. It's cute little shop. Little Middle Eastern building. Take it in your mouth. Okay, my egg whites are nice and fluffy. They look like a nice big marshmallow. That's what you're looking for. So I think I'm going to stop and I'm going to test to see if the peaks are right. So you can take your whisk off and you can scoop it and see if it curls. You can see it's kind of dangly. It's still a little liquidy. I'm going to beat it just a little more. Don't walk away too far. I'm very much going to say never walk away from your food. All right, let's test to see if we're at the right stage for our peaks. Scoop it and see. Can you see? It's still, but I can bend it. That's my test. I think we're good. You can take it too far and you don't want to do that. All right, so next you're going to take this egg white mixture, you can see, and you're going to add just about a fourth of it into the chocolate mixture which I have in the bowl here, if you can see that. So I'm going to add it in, just a big scoop of it. And I'm going to start folding it in. And what this does is it lightens the base of that heavy, thick chocolate. And that's what makes the mousse moussey, light and fluffy, like a yum chocolate cloud. So this takes a few minutes. And this is a fun step for the kids to do. If you, I encourage you to have your kids cooking with you so that they can learn all of these wonderful family traditions and holidays and just be able to make yummy food. This is good. Okay, so it's beginning to look like it's incorporated. It looks kind of marbled. I'm going to do just a couple more. When you're folding, it is important not to stir. There's a difference. Stirring and folding is you go down to the middle of the bowl, scoop up, and let the food fall over and back into the middle. Then turn the bowl down, up, and over. Turn the bowl down, up, and over. Because you want to be careful. This is kind of a gentle process. Over, down, up, over in the middle of the bowl. Because if you stir it, if you stir it too hard, it's going to lose its the light air that we're trying to incorporate into the heavy chocolate. Okay, so it's looking good. It's losing its marbled look. It's looking really incorporated. So I'm going to add the rest of the egg whites. And if you don't have one of these silicone spatulas, the industrial size, or the, I say professional kitchen size, just go down to your local restaurant supply store. They're really cheap. They're just amazing. They get every bit of the goodness into your recipe. So you're just going to continue this folding in the middle, up and over, up and over. So full time, what I do is I teach children's cooking classes. I have a children's cooking school based in Austin, and we're also in a couple of other places. But we teach our kids, and we teach our kids these real professional techniques because we believe that kids can cook, and it's a natural platform for creativity, self-confidence. Who is not proud of themselves when they've created something yummy in the kitchen? Well, kids are no different. They love that, and they love cooking for mom and dad, showing off their new skills. So that's fun. So we teach them how to fold. We make this recipe in our classes. Now you can see where it's beginning to look lightly, light mocha colored. That is beginning to look like mousse. It's exciting. Okay, now the third and final component of chocolate mousse is whipped cream. And I've gotten here in our bowl, I've already whisked whipped cream, heavy whipped cream, powdered sugar, and vanilla. But in this, it looks kind of tainted, like almost a little light tan color. My lighting's not great in here, but you can see it's not white. It's not snow white because I use Mexican vanilla. Don't worry, it's gonna go in, it's gonna all be incorporated. You're never even gonna see it anyway, so it's fine. So you wanna whisk that until you have also peaks that are standing up. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Oh well, it's all going in the bowl, so it's all good. I just wanted to make a mention not to over whisk your whipped cream too, because that too can be, you can take it too far and it can turn into butter. We're not putting butter in this, we're putting whipped cream. Okay, so not too big of a mess there. All right, so then you begin folding that in. Now once you get to this stage, you really are done folding. You can start stirring, but don't beat it to death, okay? It's not, don't take out your stress on this. Mousse is light and fluffy and delicate. And it kind of reminds me of springtime. You know, here we are at Passover, at the beginning of spring. Spring is new, things are budding, they're delicate. So mousse is like that too. But don't be fooled, it's rich and it's delicious. And we have beautiful mousse here. Okay. So those are the three main components of chocolate mousse. I'm going to be sharing this recipe with you, so don't worry about the measurements of the ingredients. I'll share all that with you, don't worry. Now we have our mousse made. You can see it, yum. And now we're going to bring it to the finish line, as we say in the culinary world. I have here, let's see. I'm going to put mine in little ramekins because tonight we're having our first night of Passover, and I'm going to be bringing this to the Passover Seder dinner that I'm going to. So I have a sheet tray here full of little ramekins, but I'm going to just do one for you just to show you the process, and then I'll finish up. Okay, so let me get my whipped cream. I made an additional batch of whipped cream for the garnishing. This is, you can't see it all because the light is terrible, but it's just whipped cream, whipping cream, powdered sugar, and I use white vanilla in this batch of whipped cream because that's when I do want it to be snowy white for the garnishing. All right, so to get this into a ramekin, you can use a spoon, you can use a small dry measuring cup, whatever you want to spoon it into your dish, starting in the center so that you don't get it on the sides. If you're doing this for presentation purposes, you want to take care on how you get it into your dish so that it doesn't drip up on the sides and cause you to have more work to do in the end. Just get it into your little ramekin carefully. I want to be generous with my guests because this is a festive celebration this Passover season. Okay, and I think that's good. All right. Next, I want to garnish this because right now it's just like chocolate mousse. I want to garnish a little bit. And here's how I do it. There's lots of ways you can do it. And this is certainly not the only way or the best way. It's just the way I do it. So you take 2 tablespoons and you can you scoop the whipped cream and then you scoop back and forth, this kind of method, to make what we call a fancy quenelle. It's just a way to garnish with whipped cream or anything. You can garnish it with anything. So I scoop some whipped cream. Now we'll see if this works because it looks like my whipped cream is a little soft. I could have maybe beaten it a little bit longer. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm making what we call a quenelle. And I'm going to go until I think I've got it good enough. You're looking for smooth, seamless, and you want to lay it gently right in the middle on top of your mousse. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but that's a quenelle. And then the last thing I like to do with my mousse is I like to grate some chocolate on top of it. And so I just have a Hershey bar here, you can see. And I just opened up the package a little bit so that I can keep the paper on it because my hands will melt it. So I want to use that as like a little handle. And I have a zester here, a planer that we use to zest citrus, but I'm going to actually kind of grate some of the chocolate on top of the quenelle, the whipped cream, just to kind of do a light dusting. And that is it. That is chocolate mousse, perfect for Passover. I don't know if you can see this, yeah? Now, if you use Grand Marnier, you may want to put a slice of orange or candied orange on it to kind of represent some of the flavors that might be in there. Almonds, you might want to put an almond cookie on top. I've seen lots of different variations. You can garnish it however you want. It's just a simple, delicious recipe that is perfect for Passover. It has no leavening. It reminds us to stay humble and remember to always rely on God. And I do think that food has spiritual components. Until next time, guys, thanks for joining me from A Taste of Israel here in our kitchen, in my kitchen, and I hope to see you again soon. I'll continue telling more soon. Bye-bye. Happy Passover.